Percent. Percent means of 100. Therefore, a number expressed as a percent is one that uses 100 as the basis of comparison, meaning that a number out of 100. 45% means 45 out of 100. Thus, 45% can be expressed as common fraction 45 over 100 and also as a decimal fraction 0.45. The way we get 0.45 is 45 divided by 100. It is equivalence of these three forms: 45%, 45 over 100, 0.45. That forms the basis of how quantity representations are converted from one to another. Note that the common fraction represents 45 over 100 can be reduced to lowest terms or reduced form since both numerator and denominator are divisible by 5. So if you divide 45 by 5, you get 9. 100 divided by 5 will give us 20. So basically 45% can be written as 9 over 20 in a reduced fraction form and 0.45 as a decimal form or decimal fraction. Let's see some examples. Express the following as a common fractions. Reduce to lowest terms where possible. So 20%, for example, we can write it as 20 over 100. Now 20 and 100 both are divisible by 20, reducing it to be 1 over 5. Okay. Now similarly 35% we can say it will be basically 35 over 100. It will be 35 over 100. Now 35 and 100 both are divisible by 5. So if you divide both by 5, 35 becomes 7 and 100 will become 20. Okay. Similarly 46 over 100, 46% we can write it as 46 over 100. Now 46 and 100 both are divisible by 2. So it will be 46 over 100. Reducing both by 2, we get 23 over 50. And then we cannot reduce it further. So that will be the answer. Now what if it was already in decimal? If the number is already in decimal, we can first convert that into fraction and then divide by 100. So 22.5 will be written as 22.5% will be written as 225 divided by 10 because there is one number after decimal and another 100, so it will be basically divided by 1000. Now 225 over 1000 can be reduced to 9 over 40. Okay. This we can write it as 9 over 40. But not all of us are good with reducing it. So if you are not good with numbers being reduced, like if you are not sure how we go from 225 to 9, that is basically dividing by 25, you can use your calculator's fraction key. It should look like ABC key or something over something key. So you press 225, that ABC key over 1000, it should give you 9 over 40. Similarly, 6.25%, we can say then it will be 625 divided by, now there are two numbers after decimal, so that's 100 and another 100, so it will be divided by 10,000. Now 625 divided by 10,000, so using the fraction key again, we should get 1 over 16. Okay, so both reduced by 625, numerator will be 1, denominator will be 16. Okay. If you were to see one more, 0.175, that's already 3 numbers after decimal, so that's 1000. And then if you were to divide by 100, so that will be another 100. So basically we will have 175 over 100,000. So for this one, we will have for the sixth one, we will have 175 over 10,000 and 175 over 10,000 or 100,000 actually, 100,000 will reduce to 7 over 4,000. Okay, it will be 7 over 4,000. Now what if it is already in fraction? If this is already in fraction, which is right now in improper fraction, we can convert that into proper fraction first by doing 16 times 3 gives us 48 plus 2, so it will be 50 over 3%. Now 50 over 3% into fraction will be divided by 100, so it will be 50 over 3 divided by 100, giving us 50 over 300. So this will be basically 50 over 300, 50 over 300, which then we can reduce to, both gets reduced by 50, 50 divides into 50 and 300 divides into 50, giving us 1 over 6. Okay. Similarly, if it is 0.5%, we can do 5 over 10 and then another 100 to get rid of the decimal, to get rid of the percent sign. So it will be 5 over 1000. 5 reduces by 5 and 1000 reduces by 5, giving us 1 over 200. That will be 1 over 200. The next one then, if we had 120%, so that's more than 100% already. So that will be 120 over 100. That will be 120 over 100, which will then reduce by, both reduces to become 6 over 5. Okay, both reduces by 20 to give us 6 over 5. Okay, that is to convert numbers into fractions, percentages into fractions. Now what if you want to convert into decimal fractions, meaning that into decimals? So if we are converting this into decimals, instead of using fraction key in our calculator, we can use the division key, or basically you're moving your number 2 decimal places to the left. So this will be 0.15, this will be 0.50 or 0.5, 47 divided by 100 will be 0.47, this will be then 0.275, this will be then 0.07, 0.0785, and then this one dividing by 100, meaning moving 2 decimals to the left, we get 0.00835. Okay. Now what if it is already in fraction and we want to convert into decimal fraction? What we can do again is like the previous one, we can convert this into improper fraction and then convert into decimal by dividing by 100. So mixed fraction to improper, this will be 33 times 3, 99 plus 100 divided by 3 and then divide by another 100. So it basically ends up being a third. A third as a decimal, either punching calculator 1 divided by 3, or it will be basically giving us 0.33. Okay. It will be 0.3333. When it's not exact, we are asked to round to 2 decimals. So that will be the answer. 0.8 then will be 0.008 and 283 divided by 100 will be 2.83. What if we are given fraction or decimal and we want to convert into percent? Converting into percent will be multiplying by 100. So 3 over 5 times 100. Basically again you can do it manually or you can use your calculator, do it for you, will give us 60. 7 over 8 times 100, again same thing. We have 7 over 8 times 100 will end up giving us 87.5. Okay, because 108 reduces and then multiply by 7, we get that. Similarly, 11 divided by 12 times 100 will give us 91.66666. So we can say roughly 91.67. And then all of them we are converting into percent. So make sure we don't forget to put percent sign. So it's 60%, 87.5%, and then we have 91.67%. And then for this one, then we do 157 divided by 7. So that's already more than 1. So it will be a larger number. So it will, in this particular case, it will be basically that some calculations are easy to do it manually. For some of them, we'll need calculator. This is very large percent. It's basically 2,242.86%, roughly that much, rounded to 2 decimals. 1 divided by 625 times 100, that's basically 0.16%, very small percent. 66 and 2/3. If it's a mixed fraction, again, we have few options. We can convert that into improper fraction first and then times by 100, or we can just use as it is. It's our choice. It's a number, and converting into percent, it's already multiplying by 100. So it's again going to be very large number. In this particular case, it's going to be 6666, okay, 0.67%. Not that practical number, but again, it's just converting into percent. Multiply this by 100. So I didn't show multiplying this by 100. Basically, that's what we did, okay? So times by 100 here, if we were to do that. Okay, and this is again, we multiplied by 100. That's how we got there. And then same thing here, multiplied by 100. And that's how we have got there. Okay. Okay. This one times by 100 will give us 85%, and this times by 100 will give us 375%. Okay. And then lastly, this multiplying by 100 will be a small number, 0.95%. Okay. So that's converting percent into fractions, fractions into percent, and same with decimals to percents to decimals.